When these two polar opposite sides come together to have a conversation, I think is fascinating. And the reason why is because these are the type of conversations that I feel that as Americans, we need to be having.
We've got a lot to talk about. If I get to have the opportunity to have a conversation with Andrew, I'm going to push back on that. I mean, he thoroughly exposed the Ukraine proxy war madness. He thoroughly exposed the COVID agenda. He thoroughly exposed the Great Reset. I think, though he didn't make that the primary point of his content, I think that's why they took him down. He's a free man. He thinks for himself.
Censorship is not the answer. It is never the answer. What both sides can and should come together on at some point, the establishment is against both of us. The right has seen what the establishment will do to Trump. The left has seen what the establishment will do to their candidates, like Bernie.
So this is just the beginning of a mass exodus away from the influence of control by tech companies.
Based. We've got a lot to talk about.
That's like when I interviewed a Boogaloo Boy. They all freaked out. We can. Yes, we can.
In order to get rid of communism means get rid of the big banks.
Yeah.
Get rid of big pharma.
Right.
What else? Big tech.
Right.
We've got a lot to talk about.
The people here are very fed up, and they're ready to collectivize and to seize the means of production.
So he's saying to this guy, a Marxist idea, that the workers should seize the means of production.
It's funny. I work for actually not this year. The other show I had an earlier for a company not too far from here called Liberty Pump, non-union. They let the owners of the company sold a third of the company to the employees, so the employees have ownership of it.
That's exactly what Marx says. So he's saying that's a great thing.
We've got a lot to talk about.
That's what this Trumper is saying to a communist. They're agreeing. And if you don't think this makes the establishment shit their pants, you've been watching too much corporate news.
You've got, again, your Ministry of Information, all right, have enabled an increase in the spread of illegal or harmful content. Who's it harmful to? Okay,
harmful to the elites.
Yeah, exactly, harmful to the people.
Harmful to the corporate narrative.
So you're okay with a voice that you don't agree with, censoring another voice that you don't agree with because you don't agree with that voice.
They are expanding the police state. They are expanding the national security state right in front of our faces. And progressives like David Doe, TYT, none of these people are saying anything because they're also worried about the red versus blue game. Hell, they are endorsing censorship. They agree with the fact that people try the YouTube channels pulled down. But they don't believe that fucking CNN had the same day for lying about war.
Julian Assange is possibly the biggest hero in the world, in my opinion, who should have a parade and a day named after him.
And the first person to be deplatformed was WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. And this would be a great way for Donald Trump to stick the thumb back in the eye of these people, is to pardon Julian Assange. If he knows what's good for freedom of speech and freedom of the press, he should take this moment and pardon Julian Assange.
I didn't used to think that, and I totally agree with it, partly because you convinced me through the force of your argument. I think that's absolutely right.
This is a bipartisan thing, too. You guys were both at the DNC, right?
Yes.
Outside the DNC, they were chanting, "Hillary cheats, thank you, WikiLeaks," after Bernie conceded.
Yep.
People on the right should want to go and talk to people on the left, right, to convince them of ideas. People on the left should go talk to people on the right to try to convince them of ideas. That's how you win.
We've got a lot to talk about.
We can. Yes, we can. They all want you to think these are left-right issues. They're not. Ending the war, not a left-right issue. Living wage, not a left-right issue. Healthcare, not a left-right issue. Wall Street, not a censorship. All these are not left-right issues. These are us against them.
And you guys want me to worry about Democrat versus Republican? That's what you want me to worry about?
We have a common enemy, and that enemy is the oligarchy that did a controlled demolition of our economy over the last 2 years while enriching them and having us hate each other over a vaccine that didn't work this way they said it did.
Man, is that true? Great, Jimmy Dore. Great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Because, again, we know who has the real power in this society. It's the corporations, right? They just buy the politicians, right? You just buy them. It doesn't matter if Democrats or Republicans win. You just buy them.
And the quicker people realize that both parties are not on their side, they only serve the oligarchy. We are, in fact, in an oligarchy. Your democracy was stolen way before Trump. Until that happens, we won't ever have real change.
Man, is that true? Great, Jimmy Dore. Great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jimmy Dore is 100% correct on this, right? And this is why I respect Jimmy Dore.
They don't want me on your show talking to your audience.
I do watch Tucker sometimes. I've really enjoyed his recent videos on why we shouldn't go to war, for example, where on CNN you'll hear pundits wheeled out, often who have vested interest in going to war, to tell you that there should be a war.
They see things as left versus right still. These people are still behind. They see things left versus right. Oh, you can't unite with these people who are anti-war because, they might be right-wingers or they may have conservative views. Bro, stop thinking about stuff in left and right. If you still think about stuff in left and right, you're literally like 10 to 15 years behind at least. It's them versus you. It's the rich versus us. It's the military-industrial complex versus us. It's the prison-industrial complex versus us.
Man, is that true?
Like being right-wing or left-wing, that just used to be a thing. Now it's like a sort of an attempt to smear, slander, and take someone down.
We're in the class war right now. We are living in the expansion of the national security state. Stop playing the red versus blue game. They are waging a war against us.
Do you see how that's a little bit more productive than calling this guy who obviously is of good faith, calling him all kinds of names?
Maybe it's time to forget the right wing and the left wing and to focus on the bird in the middle. And hopefully that bird can fly us to something approaching freedom.
Man, is that true?